Hey everyone, Margarita here. Today is Friday, March 14th, 2025, and I'm just doing this video to give an update on what's been going on with Ford Motor Company's most recent gasoline spill that they had additionally covered up along with that last one about 6 months ago. Now, I did place a call to the city about 2 weeks ago, and I caught the guy in charge of the sewer system in the city of Flatrock. His name's Eric Holtz. He basically caught him lying numerous times in the phone call. And then because I'm sheltering in place, I'm unable to go out and about when something like that is going on, especially if it has not been cleaned up at all. It depends on at what time, how much has spilled, at what time frame I'm trying to go out somewhere and assess everything or drive from point A to point B. It depends on all that and what has gone on and if I can go somewhere or not. So what I try to do is just assess things, stay sheltered in place, and just assess things like once or twice a week, and just go somewhere a short distance, and then maybe go somewhere a little further out. And if I go far enough out, I can drive up out of it, and then I'll be okay if if it's 20, 30, 40 miles away, depending on how big the spill is. Then I'm good, like once I get far enough out of it. But I called, he was lying. There was about a day that I sat home. I had a lot of phone calls to make that day, so I didn't go anywhere. And then the next day I ended up leaving, and that's when I found everything being flushed. Many fire trucks out and about while I was driving around that day. I had numerous places I had to go. Each place was not very far away, but I did have to take 3 short trips total. That first one, I went in one direction. The levels were very high. And I wasn't even gone like 15 minutes, and I could barely make it back to my toilet in time. So I was not gone long, never even made it to the second location that I had to go to, had to come back home immediately, and then wait for that to kind of clear a little bit, and then I continued on with what I had to do next. And then due to that, for some reason, my tires were flattened, the 2 front tires, which are new, and they were filled not that long ago. They should not have been flattened. I believe somebody intentionally did it, but now that I seen something else happen the other day, I think my daughter's got a lot of haters as well, just like I do, probably for different reasons, but I do believe this girl came and flattened the tires is what I think happened now. But that went on that same day. That was the day I found the tires flat, and they shouldn't have been. So I actually took a little bit further of a trip than I initially planned. When I went back out, went a little further, that's when I started finding the flushing in the nearby cities, because I technically was not in Flatrock at that point, but it is the next city over. But mind you, I had already spent a whole day after I'd made that phone call at home on the phone doing other things, taking care of other business I had to take care of, and did not go anywhere that next day. So they very well could have flushed in Flatrock, which pushed it into the next city, because that's how it works, and then that city flushes. And then as it goes on, depending on what the levels are, that next city will flush, that next city will flush after. That's kind of how it works. And then they lie to the public. They say it's contained and all that, and that's not true. So I just want to give an update on all this and where things are at. I did catch all that on film. I caught the flushing on film, and in the same exact spot 6 hours later, I caught the power lines above it caught fire. So that tells me everything I need to know right there. That's why the power lines are catching fire, because the high levels of gas, that's what makes it so explosive and so risky. That's why they had to have all those fire trucks out and about during that. That's why the evacuation happened in 2021, because the levels were found so high. It was such an extreme risk of explosion everywhere. And then it was raining, so when you mix that with it, that just tops it all off. So I caught all that on film. I am going to release those videos. I have not done so yet. But I had numerous things kind of jumped in front of what I was working on. I just had to give a video update since I hadn't done one, because I had all these other situations I'm dealing with too. I had to give an update on that, because I'm trying to document every step of the way as this goes on, as each situation is going on, and what it's looking like now, because I did go somewhere yesterday. No, it was Wednesday. Wednesday, I had gone maybe about 5-6 miles away and then back, and my effects can be delayed, so it depends on the level and what gas or chemical or whatever it was that I took in, each one has different effects. So, and I learn as I go. So I've been through numerous spills, different types, and a train explosion that drifted to my house 190 miles from the incident eventually. And so I've been through numerous situations at this point. I learn as I go. I don't have all the facts, but I have to learn as I go, or I wouldn't be alive. So now I did take that little trip out. It did make me sick the next day. Like initially, like I said, when I went out the one day, I got very sick very fast, and I was very dizzy and losing oxygen and having symptoms very fast. Now, when I went out a couple days ago, that was not the case. I wasn't really having immediate symptoms, maybe a little bit of brain burning, which is like my brain losing the oxygen because whatever I'm breathing in is taking the place of that oxygen due to me being overloaded with carbon monoxide and my brain tissue being open, the blood-brain barrier. It's not all the way intact. It's pretty open in the front, up top still. So that was kind of going on, but I didn't experience anything else really until the next day, the next morning, and the next day when I woke up. So it all kind of hit me at once. The first several hours I was awake. There was a bunch of digestional issues. My ears were, my brain was bleeding a little bit. It was dripping out of my ears. I did have to do some ear candles. I did have some nausea. And a lot of these, when I have exposures and stuff, a lot of these spills, I have a lot of extreme nausea. It does come and go now. It was very extreme and continuous for 3 years straight. But it does come and go, exposure based at this point, and sometimes can go on for long periods of time. So I woke up that way after that last trip out. So what I can tell in the few times I've been out in the last couple of weeks, it is slowly being flushed away. Even though he lied and said that they don't do that, they did do that because they did find it above EPA's legal amounts outside where I told them they would. And he couldn't figure out how I understood that or how I knew that and where I'm getting my information. I told him like 2-3 times. He's still not listening to me. Because they've been told in the background that I have a mental disorder and I'm not injured. So I'm repeatedly telling you the same thing with every spill, with every phone call I've ever made, and you're still not listening to me. But then how do I have the facts, and why are you guys out there flushing after you said you don't do that? So I will post all that and show everything here shortly. I did kind of let a few cats out of the bag already today and yesterday, so I'm going to let that settle. I'm going to get a few more videos uploaded, and then I'll let more of this loose. Because I do want to let everybody know Ford Motor Company in Flatrock has spilled not only in 2021, but they did spill again it was exactly 3 years later. So it was the end of August of 2024, and then they spilled again about 5-6 weeks ago. So, and they're covering it up. They're not telling anybody they're doing this. I believe the city is helping Ford cover it up. They have no intention on telling anybody or flushing it. However, I'm so sick, and I know because I have extreme symptoms and I come near death very fast and I have to make phone calls over it and then I have to shelter in place. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't leave home. Can't even travel from point A to point B. Can't get groceries, can't work, can't do nothing. It doesn't matter. That's how I'm forced to live. And so, I am going to expose the entire thing, and nobody else knows about it. I'm sure some people were probably sick, or there was an influx of people at the ER or the urgent cares and whatnot in the last month or two since it's been going on. But I am going to release everything that I've been talking about upon each spill. The fact that they'd spilled twice within 6 months, that's kind of messed up. And it wasn't as high as the one in 2021, but it was a significant amount. And it is starting to dissipate, and they must have flushed in Flatrock because a significant portion where my home has quite dissipated quite a bit, but it's not 100% clear. I still can't just be hanging out outside. So it's got some ways to go. I do need it to rain a few times, and then I'll reassess after it rains a few times and probably be back with an update. But I do know it is starting to finally clear a significant amount where my house is, but when it clears, it's pushed further out. So when I have to go places, I'm still driving through it. It's still got to dissipate over time and be spread. So that's another issue. So I guess we'll see. I'll do another update. It looks like it's supposed to rain tomorrow and the next day possibly, and then I'll be able to assess better like where we're at with all that. I just wanted to give an update. on what I found, where everything is right now, and then I'm going to come forward with everything publicly. Start releasing that probably next week once I have a little bit more information, or once the weather changes again significantly. I'll be able to reassess a little bit better. So I will be back with another one. Thanks. Bye.